BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
You may remember Aviation and News Weekly. This is a recap series covering all the latest aviation developments over the past week, and it's back. I apologise for the absence, but if you'd like to see more of it, do let me know down in the comments. There's a lot to get to today, so let me not waste any more time. Buckle in and get ready for takeoff. We're beginning with the ever-popular Airbus A220, and an aircraft that has generally been a central focus on the channel for many years now. And the aircraft emerged into the news yesterday thanks to Airbus and Quebec, securing a staggering $1.2 billion investment for the A220 program. The $1.2 billion investment is split between $900 million coming from Airbus and a further $300 million from Quebec. A statement released by the province's government is the source for these intriguing developments. Now, let us get into the announcement itself. Thanks to this, there'll be further support to the A220 program that'll enable Airbus to increase production globally and at a quicker rate, with another stronghold. In Quebec, the rise will be achievable and supported in all the right areas. While this has been an investment that has resulted in some negative public attention, both parties are behind the decision. Quebec invested in the A220 back when it was actually known as the C Series. Now, this was before Airbus took over the program with a majority stake, and from there, Quebec continued to put money in. This saw them initially get a 49.5% stake, and because of the transfer of ownership to Airbus, Quebec was, I guess you could say, left in a bit of a pickle. However, with a 25% ownership in the A220 venture currently, they've continued to maintain their investment is a worthy one, even though it's accumulated losses. And of course, despite approaches that maybe could have been taken differently, like many suggesting Quebec should have invested in the aircraft manufacturer itself. In 2030, Quebec believes that not only will they be able to make back the investment they made yesterday, valued at $300 million USD, but they'll also make some profits, in addition with the US $1 billion they initially paid for the C Series all those years ago. Airbus's goal of reaching 14 units per month in regards to production within 3 years is ambitious, and investments can always help in achieving this, like I said, in making those operations more robust. Moving on to the next topic of the day, that being at All Nippon Airways, within the past week a change involving Airbus aircraft. The airline noted that they'd switched orders for a total of 2 of the A321LRs back to the stock standard A321neo aircraft, a decision that certainly wouldn't take the crown for the most shocking, if you will, a decision nevertheless that All Nippon Airways believes is the best to take them forward. The news was revealed at the beginning of the month and was made available through a change in the stock exchange filing on February 1st. While the change sees an order for 2 of the A321LRs moved to the Neos, they've also adjusted an order for just a single A320neo and moved it to the larger A321neo. Unlike though the LR order, which is for long range, they are still welcoming in the 320neos, with the final delivery expected for this aircraft sometime in the ballpark of 2025, now some 3 years away. The A320neo family as a series suits several business models, for ANA as well. However, the A321neo within the family offers something different, with the series having the ability to stretch further into the middle of the market with routes that offer the airline more flexibility. In addition, the 321neos will offer ANA a stable business plan for the long term. They see this aircraft as key for the future growth and stability within the aviation industry. And of course, this is occurring in a time where these things are crucial as we slowly emerge from the pandemic. However, for the Asia-Pacific region, recovery is even slower. This is something that's been well documented on the channel, and all it takes is a quick second to have a look at how some of the airlines in that Asia-Pacific region are still performing at the moment. It's pretty bleak, especially with a key focus there being on Cathay Pacific. However, while they are a perfect example of an airline that is essentially failing, there are many other airlines that are still struggling to re-emerge and have a stable international network. This is not helped by government restrictions and so forth. Now, any change in an airline is an interesting one, and over at British Airways, multiple adjustments have taken place, which BA labels as improvements, and they were revealed yesterday following a new press release. However, they were highly rumoured in the months and weeks prior. I'll first give you the rundown on what the airline will be implementing, and then we'll dive into some comments from the airline themselves on the changes. There'll be new menus, first and foremost, which will be arriving to the British Airways cabin as the airline attempts to make itself, I guess you could say, more of the airline of old, especially that of before the pandemic. In addition to this, new baggage tracing systems will be launching in the coming weeks, with additional changes at check-in to boost the efficiency of World Traveller Plus customers. On top of that, there are some smaller changes as well. In the sources area of this video's description, there will be a press release. You're more than welcome to go and have a look at that, as there are a handful of other smaller changes that the airline will be making. The Director of Brand and Customer Service further added to these sets of changes by saying, "We want to create an even better British Airways and know that we need to keep making changes to the customer experience with things like alternative menus, reducing plastics, and introducing new technology to get us where we want to be. In addition to these improvements, we are also moving ahead at speed with some of the more significant initiatives that we promise to our customers, such as the rollout of our award-winning business class seat, Club Suite." Reaction to these announcements from British Airways have definitely been mixed. Some are in favour of the decisions the airline has made, with many others labelling them generally as mediocre at best. Whereas, of course, others believe that the focus of British Airways should be shifting to other areas, especially on their service and ultimately the product, like the business seat, that Club Suite that was just mentioned by the Director of Brand and Customer Service in the statement. Where do you stand? I'm personally not someone that flies with British Airways, so I cannot compare the products nor understand what the service was offered before or now, but are you happy with the decisions if you're a regular flyer with them? And generally, is this a step in the right direction, do you believe, for the London Heathrow-based carrier? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Finally, we have some news coming out of El Al Israeli Airlines, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, and the airline has signed a deal that'll see it purchase Arkia. This is a rival airline of a much smaller scale. The MOU was signed late this week. It also comes following a turbulent period for the Israeli-based airline during the pandemic. Like all things, this deal isn't wrapped up, and with it being at a stage of it just being an MOU, we are definitely a long way away. Take a look at other airline buyout deals. It can take years for these things to actually come up with various agreements, and contractual obligations do take time. On top of that, there's all the regulatory approvals that will follow. What is interesting is that from this merger, if you will, Arkia will still operate under their own brand within Israel, so it won't be swallowed entirely whole by El Al, like what we'll be seeing with Korean Air and Asiana Airlines in the coming years, with Korean already attempting to look at changing their branding. With a much smaller fleet for both, they do believe that a merger may be the way to recover and actually succeed in the aviation industry, more so together. It also means that El Al are able to eliminate the competition. There's a lot to unpack in today's Aviation News Weekly, so if you have any thoughts on the topics covered, whether it be discussions surrounding British Airways, potential order changes at All Nippon Airways, or even right at the beginning, news on the A220, you know the best place to leave your thoughts is in the comment section below. In addition, if you'd like to see more of these Aviation News Weekly type videos, let me know. Thanks so much for the continued support. There are a lot of exciting visual updates for the channel currently in the works, so make sure you're staying tuned. Until the next one, take care and be